Your favorite compas have another jam-packed episode of Lunes Live. Yes, it is Lunes Live this week, not Martes Live, because obviously it was a holiday last week. But we are back on Lunes Live. Gilbert and I will talk. We have a lot to talk about combat sports regarding and recapping UFC 302. What were the results mean for Islam, Poirier, and Strickland? Then we shift over to the boxing world with Zhang's KO win over Deontay Wilder. Is it time for Deontay to hang up the gloves? And what does this mean for him moving forward? Plus, there is no Vic, the producer, today. He is out in Oklahoma. So Dan and Dago will jump in to talk some NFL, maybe a little UFC 302. And you never know with him what else can be brought up. But that reminds me, Gilberto, don't you have a question for our viewers and or listeners?
Actually, I do not, Fernando, because I'm going to make a request for the engagement request of the week. Fernando, it was your birthday on Friday. You look like you're 24. I won't even say your real age, but you're a young guy. You're doing well. You're coming off a great 2023. I don't want to out your birthday if you don't want to. But you look young, coming out from a good year, going on to a better year. So the request for the engagement request of the week. Wish Fernando a happy birthday. That's it.
Appreciate it.
Simple. Say some kind words if you want. Even write a paragraph. Athir has a paragraph right there in the comments. Keep it going. Wish Fernando a happy birthday. And what a day or weekend for Fernando. He got that French guy from PSG.
Kylian Mbappe. We're going to talk about that. There's a lot we got to talk about. There's a lot of.
We could talk soccer to start off the show, Fernando.
I know. No, we won't start it off because there was already a request made by somebody that, hey, if you guys are going to talk soccer, you better include me.
Well, I'm giving you an opportunity to start the show with soccer, but all right, we'll wait it out.
We'll wait till Dan and Dago gets back. But again, I appreciate it. It's definitely been a crazy year. Excited about what's coming up next, and I can't wait to see what happens. I'm not a big talker about myself, so instead of talking about myself, let's let the intro do the talking.
Compas on the beat. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah. So we're Compas.
Yeah, we are.
There you go.
Hey. There you go. Okay, all right. We got proof right there.
Some guy that seems like he's asleep. Need you to wake up, Gilbert. There's a lot of energy.
Come on, Gilbert. Let's go.
Come on. Dan and Dago is at Moe's.
I'll show you. I got it right.
Okay, that's it. You guys, I am done with mine, but that's couldn't get better than a 2026 6th-round pick swap for a 7-rounder. So
freaking love you, Chad.
Hey, dude. Cool, man.
Compas on the beat, man. Derwin James signing off, man. Watch Compas on the beat, man.
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the charge for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
A lot's going on, Fernando, and I feel like I need to shout because I don't have my usual setup here. I appear like I'm a hostage. There's nothing behind me. But I'm speaking, because I want to. Nobody tell me to say things here. Hold up a sign. Hey, I'm a hostage, whatever. But I just moved over the weekend, and Fernando, it was a difficult weekend, but a weekend that reminded me that I'm still a tough guy, a strong guy. I was lifting a massive couch from a staircase. I was moving, furniture up and down. And then I even had time to go to a graduation party where they had a mechanical bull. Guess who rode the bull a couple of times? Your boy. I'm all bruised up and sore and tired, but I'm here looking like a hostage to wish you a happy birthday.
I appreciate that. Jesse, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I definitely am a lucky guy. Gilbert, and recently, we've had to move once or twice in the last 2 or 3 years. You never know how much shit you have until you have to move. And it's stuff just comes out of stuff and everything. So it's just one of those things where you just don't know how much stuff you have until you start pulling it out and everything.
Yes, that, and also reminder to myself to either get a U-Haul truck or buy a damn truck because having these Honda Accords back and forth, it's not doing the trick. So we keep going up and down from, if you're familiar with SoCal regions, from the Long Beach area to Northridge in the Valley, up and down the 5 freeway, 405 freeway, the 105 freeway. It's like, oh crap, we forgot that, the bathroom stuff, the living room stuff. But luckily we have people that we've been bothering who are family members.
Gilbert has been frozen for a little bit, but it sounds like that move is really kicking his butt. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, well, yeah, we thought maybe it's terrible over here. So what was the last part you had?
That you guys have been moving and family members have been helping you guys out and stuff.
Well, not too much, but yeah, we've been borrowing trucks from people, and I think we're gonna do some more moving today, tomorrow, and hopefully we're done. But it's taking longer than expected.
Ooh, so no Chargers part. By the way, when Dan and Diego does jump on, Gilbert and I will be talking about sights and sounds from OTAs last week. Gilbert and I were both there, but obviously we want to include
here, even the comments. We will respond during Chargers talk. We're gonna make you wait.
Yeah, but Moy says, baddest man in SoCal. We appreciate it, Moy. You're the man. But we'll give you some sights and sounds of what we saw last week at OTAs, and there's a different atmosphere, Gilbert. No music. Well, we'll give you guys a little bit of a preview. No music being played.
I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yeah, they just did it when they were stretching, but no music. You could hear a lot of what was going on.
A lot of Jim Harbaugh running like this.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Like, he really gets into it, and here you go, Moy. Dan and Diego has to react to the Sunday country concert, rocking with the boys. I have the video. He will react to it. And then guess what? We do have a surprise. Dan and Diego has a couple of lists out there he wants to show you guys. His top 3 NFL commentators, his least 3 favorite. And then CJ Stroud came out with the 5 top quarterbacks of last season. So I had Dan and Diego go with his top 5 QBs of the AFC and top 5 QBs of the NFC. You guys aren't going to want to miss these lists.
Hey, it's actually in trouble. Yeah, your boy Pat McAfee got in trouble today. Maybe Dan.
I know.
Be careful, Dan.
But no, but it's good stuff, and you guys will love it. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. But first off, we got to start it off right off the bat. Justin Jefferson. There was a lot of rumors coming out about, hey, was he in New York getting ready to sign or to go get traded to the New York Jets? They don't want him long term. Well, Justin Jefferson right off the bat signs a 4-year, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 million guaranteed, which makes him not only the highest paid wide receiver, but the highest non-quarterback in NFL history. Jefferson's deal also includes $88.743 million due at signing. Gilbert, what is your reaction to all the money that now he really is going to point at his grills and have all those diamonds like he has in the past?
Yeah, maybe this is not a football observation on the field, at least yet. I'll get to that point in a bit. But it's just funny how when that report came out that the Vikings were thinking about shopping Justin Jefferson at not the deadline, the draft. They're trying to get Malik Neighbors, and maybe Team Justin Jefferson, the camp there, leaked it to rush the Vikings to get the deal done because, hey, you don't want to upset the superstar, the wide receiver, and for it to go down, a few days later. I thought the overall value of the contract was going to be bigger, Fernando, like maybe 160.
Especially after he had denied last year, he had almost the same contract that he denied.
And then you're getting the money because from either the Vikings or somebody else because CeeDee Lamb's coming, Brandon Ayuk is coming, all these wide receivers are coming, and you're better than all these wide receivers. So to me, it was a guaranteed money. Like if you look at the number of guaranteed money compared to Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, $110 million guaranteed, shatters whatever else wide receiver had. I could look it up real quick, but I remember looking at that like, whoa, $110 million guaranteed. And then you mentioned the numbers at $88 million at signing. So that's a big deal around the NFL. The guaranteed money is the most important thing. So you try to get out of that contract, it's going to hurt you because the guaranteed money, hey, well deserved. The Vikings need to get it done in terms of the football aspect. You have a rookie quarterback, JJ McCarthy. You got to get this guy on the right path. develop him. What's the best way to do that? That stud right there in Justin Jefferson, to go with Addison, to go with Hawkinson. Hey, sadly, I'm feeling a little better about the Vikings. I know I bashed them for a bit there, but hey, I feel more optimistic for the Vikings after signing Jefferson.
Gilbert, would you like to retract your 3-14 record?
You know, part of me kind of feels like I want to, because it was a little harsh. But like Vikings fans, like
somebody has to lose.
Yeah.
Somebody has to, like. There's the NFC North is pretty, like. There's a lot of good teams.
Let me put it to you this way, Fernando. Like, even with Jefferson signed, and you're gonna go with Darnold and McCarthy, they don't feel like a playoff team.
No.
Hey, they could win 8 games, 9 games, but wouldn't you rather have a top 5 pick than a top 15 pick? So, you know, sometimes you just not, like last year, Kirk Cousins was playing his butt off. They still started 1-4. The Chargers beat them. That's not no shade. I'm just saying, when it was 0-3, I'm just saying it was 0-3. Who came out on top? The Chargers on the road. Every year is different. I get it, but they feel like maybe they could be at best 8 wins, and you don't want to have 8 wins. You either get a playoff team or you get a top 5 pick. Vikings fan, I'm doing you a favor. Get a top 5 pick.
And it's not just that, but now you're going on. So obviously the Vikings are kind of doing the opposite of what like the Chargers or other teams are doing, where the receivers, like, they're going to take advantage of his rookie contract. The same way that the Houston Texans are kind of taking advantage of CJ Stroud's rookie contract. And who knows if JJ McCarthy's even going to start this year. It could be Sam Darnold at the beginning, but there goes Dan. Unleash the heel.
Another YouTube account? Is that the burner one?
I don't know what that is, but I think he usually
he's on YouTube.
It's from his Twitter. Yeah.
The Twitter picture.
But
get a picture, Daniel.
What I like about so obviously you're gonna need good weapons. The same way when Herbert came in, the Chargers had Keenan Allen, they had Mike Williams to help him kind of progress. This is gonna be huge for JJ McCarthy coming in, and you have Jordan Addison and you have Justin Jefferson, and obviously whatever else they try and build in. But I even think for Sam Darnold, it could definitely help them in a sense, kind of come in and you have these kinds of receivers, and maybe it'll help you improve. They don't have a bad offensive line. They have some pieces on there, but I'm definitely interested to see how much leeway with a rookie quarterback and with Sam Darnold, how much leeway does Kevin O'Connell have? Because Minnesota's going to start you know how impatient ownership gets, and we've seen it with Atlanta. We've seen it. Jerry Jones starting to get impatient. By the way, oh God, somebody from The Athletic, Fieldman. No, he's a writer for The Athletic. He covers college sports. I can't remember his name right now.
Feldman,
Feldman, yeah. He was on Cowherd Show, and he said, don't be surprised if Dallas and Deion Sanders, for some reason, talk after the season if those guys, if Mike McCarthy's fired. So he said Deion Sanders Cowboys. I had mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, don't be surprised. So it'd be funny to actually see if that happens. But my bad, just real quick, I think it's a good thing that they got him signed up. Now they can move forward, but all eyes are now on Kevin O'Connell. The same way a couple miles away from there, Matt Eberflus, all eyes are on you, especially with the way that Poles and all these guys have given you the weapons. Now it's your turn to turn around and go do it. But I thought this was a good signing, Gilbert. But now my question to you is, what does this mean for Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb? Because CeeDee Lamb already talked to Josina Anderson, and I think it was like something like, oh, here we go. I'm told talks between the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb are expected to speed up beyond its previous pace, since there is at least a number with the announcement of Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson's record-setting non-quarterback contract extension today. That's from Josina Anderson, who's I think a free agent right now. But that is what Josina Anderson tweeted out today. So what do you think that? Because we all know the Bengals are kind of, they're not as frugal as other teams are. So I think it's really, and then especially I think T. Higgins is going to be gone regardless. But all eyes are now on Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb to see what happens between them and their respective teams.
Yeah, from those names that you mentioned, obviously, when we play the whole best wide receiver game, you think about Jefferson, Tyreek and Devontae, and then I think you think about CeeDee Lamb right after that, and then Jamar Chase as well. So I think Jamar and CeeDee could get a little, maybe like, get stubborn and say, you know what, I think we're just as good as Jefferson. We need that same contract, so maybe that could delay it, or there's a number there where you're like, you know what, come below. We all know about that Jefferson started off quickly in 2020. CeeDee, it took you a little while, about a year or so. Chase, you had some injury issues. You're a little smaller, and maybe they kind of just say, because the behind the scenes talk, you have agents for a reason, for these tough conversations. So, hey, Jefferson got this number. We view you on that level, but come below, or it could be like, you know what, we're just as good, man. And to top those guaranteed numbers for now, that could be very tough to do. So maybe CeeDee and Chaser, you know what? We'll get close to the total money. We don't have to, be all picky about the guaranteed money. Let's get it done. The numbers out there. That could be the positive there. But what about guys like Brandon Ayuk, who's not really on that level, right?
Yeah.
Like what do you ask for? Do you try to, when you see Jalen Waddle, by the way, that contract of Waddle was put on the spot today because you're ranking all five, or you're seeing all 5 or 6 players. Like if you're Brandon Ayuk, you're saying, pay me that Waddle money. And then I know I'm going all over the place, but
no, you're good.
The Waddle contract with Tyreek Hill money, and you have to pay Tua. Like, I'm just curious to see what the hell happens there for the Cowboys. Like, think about the Detroit Lions and Matthew Stafford. They kept trying and trying. It just didn't work. Maybe move apart Dak and Dallas, pay CeeDee his top money, pay Michael Parsons, and try something different. With the Bengals, we've seen the 2 wide receivers thing getting paid highly, like we saw with the Chargers. It didn't work out. I don't think it's going to work with Miami. They're doing a mistake. So if you're the Bengals, maybe let go of T. Higgins and pay Jamar Chase for top money. I think I covered it all right there.
I think if Aaron Rodgers retires, or the Dolphins say no thanks to Tua Tagovailoa, and Dak is a free agent, I think those would be the 2.
I like that.
Where, and don't sleep on Minnesota either. I think Minnesota would be another team that if the JJ McCarthy thing doesn't work, or they don't feel like he's up to speed.
The way you're talking, Fernando, makes me feel good about my prediction for that.
Well, you just never know. But going back to this, it sets a precedent for everything, Gilbert, because like I even we put in the rundown too. Now Tyreek Hill is talking about wanting their what's the name? His agent is Rosenhaus. Rosenhaus already came out on a TV show, I think last week, and he said, yeah, we're gonna start talking new contract, because Tyreek Hill is no longer in the top 5 wide receivers paid in the NFL. Tyreek Hill is gonna say, look at my damn numbers. I'm still good. Everybody thought that once I hit 30, the only thing that can slow him down, we already know what is the only thing that can slow him down. So I don't have to get into detail on that.
Hey,
but
put it this way, Fernando. Tyreek Hill, I saw the contract. His contract gave him $72 million guaranteed. You know what? Waddle got $76 million guaranteed. Yeah. Waddle's not the same player as Hill. So, yeah, maybe it's a good time.
Waddle gets hurt also. Waddle's been hurt since he's come into the NFL, and he's been an impact player and everything for that team, and the Dolphins fans love him, but you need to be a little bit realistic. I was surprised they gave him that amount of money, but sometimes you're paying for what you think is going to end up happening and kind of what you've seen. And I feel like they
shorter deal too. Maybe I could see that's why the big boys.
Yeah. But Tyreek Hill is going to say, hey, I'm next. What the hell? Where's my contract? I want, and who knows? Maybe they pull a Patrick Mahomes where they restructure it, give him more money and do something along those lines. But and that's kind of
too. Like I get that he has a speed, but like that's a lot of money to give an over.
And I agree with Moy right here is that the Dolphins cap situation is about to be very ugly. It is, and there's no point. There's no way of hiding it, because you have to remember on their defensive side also, they have to pay guys on there. Javon Holland, I think, is due a contract pretty soon. What are you going to do with him? There's other situations where you kind of have to wonder what they're going to do.
Phillips might be due. I forget, Fernando.
I think he is. I think he is due.
Paid already.
Yeah. I think he is going to be due. So, and that's why you had to get rid of Christian Wilkins, to be completely honest. So, these situations are going to be very interesting to monitor. But hey, Justin Jefferson got his money, and now we'll see what happens moving forward with him. But all right, Gilbert, let's move on over to combat sports. and we'll talk UFC 302. Let's change. Yeah, we got to change the room up. Gilbert Islam beats Poirier via submission in the 5th round. Dustin Poirier, obviously, after Poirier said, "Hey, I don't know, this might be it." He told Joe Rogan this might be it. He even said that he went to sleep. Islam put him to sleep for a little bit. They had to kind of wake him up. That's why there was a little bit of the delay. And then obviously Sean Strickland defeats Paulo Costa via decision. And then Kevin Holland defeated Mikel Olesi. I can't even say that name. Submission in the 1st round. That was the guy that got knocked down. Then all of a sudden he gets back up, and then he puts him in an armbar, and he basically almost broke. I don't know if he did or if he didn't. He almost broke his arm. But Gilbert, just right away, what did you make of the main event, Poirier and Islam?
It kind of went as expected. Poirier, man, tough as nails, heart of a champion, even though he hasn't been an undisputed champion. And it's funny, Fernando, because you could tell the fan or the public wanted Dustin Poirier to, end his career being undisputed champion. We were all pulling for him. I kept reminding myself, don't fall for the fairy tale story. Like, Islam is that guy. He's one of the best pound for pound fighters on the planet. I know Dana White still calls John Jones the best, but Islam is, top 3. So, and he proved it. And the way that Islam was going, he went over to Poirier's locker room to just say, "Dude, mad respect. You're tough. I knew what I was going to get myself into, but not like that." So, and I like that Islam is not afraid to trade. He's an entertainer. Yeah, he could definitely be a grappler and a mauler and bring you down. But there were moments where, like, Poirier was catching him. He's like, "Oh man, okay, you want to fight like that?" He got into it, and it was a good fight. And I'll tell you a quick story, Fernando. I was at a graduation party during that time. And then all the guys were on their phone trying to watch the fight. And one of Caroline's relatives comes over. He's like, "Hey, who do you got?" Everybody was saying Poirier. I'm like, you guys are thinking with your heart, man. Like, it's gonna be Islam. He's a great fighter. He's like, "I'll bet you $10." So that was an easy $10 for me. Not that easy, but he was winning the fight handily. And then for him to choke him out and make him tap, was pretty easy to get that money too.
There was a couple moments where I thought Poirier he ran out of gas. I thought there was a couple of times he caught Islam. I thought he should have came after his eye a lot more. The eye was obviously busted open. I thought he should have came after him a little bit more, but it just felt like at one point Poirier was gassed. Dan kept on getting pissed because Poirier kept on fixing his shorts, and he's like, "Stop fixing your damn shorts." But Poirier showed a lot of heart. It just sucks because, like you mentioned on last week's pod, he's never been a champion. Like, he's been an interim before, but he's never been an actual champion. So that kind of sucked. And obviously Cody Rhodes text or sent out a thing saying finish your story, and obviously he wasn't able to.
I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where you're kind of like, oh, like, too bad he couldn't finish it, because it would have been a really nice story to see him obviously finish it off and be able to get him. But Islam just, and you could, and I thought Poirier did really good with his defense. There was a lot of times where he was trying to get him on the ground, and I thought that Poirier did a great job of stopping him, and he really slowed him down up to that point. And I thought the judges' scorecards showed that the fight was a little bit closer than what I think most people thought, but it was because of Poirier's defense. It was very good, but I thought going into that 5th round, I thought Poirier needed to go balls to the walls and just let it loose, and I didn't really think he did, but it's also because I think he was also nervous, and that's how much respect he has for Islam, where he's like, "Hey, this guy can come at me 7 different ways, and I'm just not willing to do that." But great fight by both guys. I thought it was definitely interesting to see. I think the crowd is what makes me laugh, Gilbert, because both when you get the crowd into it, they kind of get all fired up, but then they were booing in the Strickland fight. Then they start booing in the Poirier fight. I'm like, okay, what do you want? And one of them, they're standing up almost the whole time hitting each other. And on the other one, they're all mad because they're trading, or they're on the ground in one of them, and then the other one they're trading blows, and they kind of boo on both of them. So it's like it's not Burger King. You can't have it your way or Subway or whatever the hell it is. But we lost Gilbert for a little bit. But definitely, I actually thought it was a good fight. There was a lot of good. It was a good showing by both guys. And now what's going to be interesting is what happens next with Poirier. Is he really, hey, you know what? I'm done. I'm good. I'm gonna step away, or or is he going to come back and decide to take one more? Because I think Volkanovski tweeted out a video and he said, "Hey, if you need to find something to do, Poirier, let's run it, let's do it, you and I." So I actually would like a Poirier and Volkanovski fight, two guys that are kind of towards the end of their careers and everything. So I think it'd be interesting to see kind of what happens. But what Gilbert was referring to about Dana White, you guys need to listen to this. It is Dana White talking about who the best is right now in the UFC.
You know, one of the greatest of all time. I don't think he's I think he's incredible. I don't think he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. For anybody to call Islam the pound for pound best fighter in the world when John Jones is still fucking fighting is nuts and shouldn't be ranking in the pound for pound or doing any of the fucking rankings ever, if that's what you really think. John Jones has never lost a fight ever. He's fought all the baddest dudes in the world. And then when you think about what pound for pound rankings really mean, he moved it up to heavyweight and destroyed the best guy in the world.
So, yeah, and hold on. So that's what Dana said. Now let's hear what Islam had to say about that.
We were asking him about you, and he was very adamant saying you're not the number one pound for pound fighter in the world and that John Jones is. And I was trying to push back, being like, you're much more active than John Jones. You're fighting more. And he said, no.
Trying to push back. All right.
Think about that.
I don't know. Maybe it's his opinion, but I think I saved this card today because all these fights boring. And the whole arena almost sleep, and we show with Dustin great performance.
We were asking him about you, and he.
So obviously Islam took a little bit of exception to what about what Dana White had to say. Gilbert, what is your opinion on so basically the last thing I said was that Volkanovski called out Poirier and he said, Poirier, if you want a little something, like you and I can get in the ring and do something together, but obviously we don't know what the future of Poirier is. And as
loser
far as
goes home match and retirement for both of those guys.
That would be interesting. They both just put their gloves down on the ground and have one last one. But what did you make of because it seems like Dana really protects John Jones a lot, and that's his guy. Like he's been with him through thick and thin. We've seen all the stuff that's happened with John Jones, and Dana stands behind him and he's with him all the way.
I think Dana's maybe focusing a little too much on the resume, the career. Obviously, when it comes to legendary fighter, maybe it doesn't get better than John Jones. When you say that, I get that. But, I guess to the reporter who was pushing it, I don't really need to bring that up in a press conference. But, there's a point there because I think lately in being more active, Islam has been doing it. When Volkanovski, I get that he went up in weight, and maybe that's a crappy part about fighters who are bigger. They get dinged for that. But Volkanovski at the time was, on fire, and they had a great fight. And after that, Volkanovski wasn't really the same. He got older right away. And Islam, he's a versatile fighter who could strike, could bring you down. Like put it this way, Khabib is definitely a better wrestler than Islam, but he wasn't as good as a striker as Islam. Being from the same camp, that's versatility right there and being aggressive. And he's right. He put on a show in that fight. Poirier helped, right, by the way. And we'll get into the Strickland fight. That was a snoozer, and that's not his fault entirely. But for me, I would still go Alex Pereira. Like, to me, pound for pound, going off of boxing is a little bit of resume and a good amount of eye test because they can't fight each other because we have weight classes for a reason. So you got to look at the fighter and, like, when that fighter fights, what's the skill set, how dominant, how much power, how active you are. And Pereira's been holding it down, man. He's a monster. He's a bad, the words, kicks, strikes. Maybe it's not as there you go. Maybe he's not as good on the ground, but nobody can compete with that guy when it comes to striking. He has good power. So I'll go Pereira, Islam, and I'll go John Jones 3. But maybe I'm overlooking, what he did a year and a half ago, and then the injury occurred.
So Islam said he's thinking about going up and getting a second belt. Who would he face?
You know what? That might be the last thing for Dana White to actually consider him the best because he respects that when people go up higher. And, that's the crappy part about these weight classes in UFC. They're not as close as the ones in boxing. So
there's a weight disparity.
Yeah, like it's for 5 pounds, and here, like, it will go from 155. Maybe I'm not correct, but I'm pretty sure I am. 155 a lightweight, and the next one will be middleweight, which is like 170 or no welterweight. It'll be 170. Sorry, 155 lightweight to 170 welterweight. And what is that? 15 pounds right there. That's a lot of weight to go up. You know, I know Conor McGregor has tried it before when he went from lightweight to fight Nate Diaz at 170, and that size difference it did play a factor into the fight. His power was still there, but you couldn't bring down his guy or knock out guys the way that they used to do. So, you know, Islam does have the wrestling aspect, but imagine trying to get wrap around a guy who's bigger. He had issues with Poirier, like you mentioned, Fernando. So I would love for him to go up to welterweight. You know, I'm not sure. I don't know if you get a title shot right away. You're going a whole new weight class, but it does happen in the UFC. And I don't think the welterweight class is that strong right now. But to go from 155 to 170 is a difficult task.
Gilbert, real quick, you spoke about it. Sean Strickland obviously defeated Paulo Costa via split decision. Gilbert, this was the scorecard from Dave Torelli. So obviously these other ones, 49-46, 50-50, 45, 49-46, Paulo Costa. Now, this is what I find incredible, Gilbert, is that this just seems like, and it's not even, he gave Paulo the win. Like, in what world did you see Paulo Costa win? Hold on. It's the first round. He literally won the first 4 rounds. Gilbert, what did you make of it? I mean, I even saw his face. Strickland's face was like, wait, what? He's like, you're giving him, you thought he won the fight? What says you, Gilbert?
First of all, Fernando, my bad for not remembering the welterweight champion is Leon Edwards, who's been on a tear the last few years.
Leon Edwards.
And he's an opponent. He's been wiping out Covington and Usman. So
him and Islam, that would be a good one.
I'm down for it. But to go off of this, I think Dana White said that the judge should go down to the minor leagues and try it again. You got it. Yeah.
I got it.
That pretty much tells you right there.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's hear what Dana White had to say.
Co-main event, Sean Strickland beat Paulo Costa. There was kind of a weird judges scorecard in there. They gave it to Paulo, I think.
It wasn't weird. It was fucking nuts is what it was. It's insane. That guy should never ref a big fight again. They should kick him back down to the minor leagues and let him work on his judging. It's unbelievable. I mean, how anybody who isn't an absolute fucking lunatic could call that fight a split decision. I don't even know what to say about that. It's insane.
That's why I like the fight game, Fernando, because if you're a coach or somebody important,
you're gonna get called out
and you criticize the official. Yeah, you're gonna get fined. You get called out. The fight game is a different kind of game, so I do appreciate that from Dana White. And yeah, honestly, I thought it was gonna be a clean sweep. You know, win 5-0. And I remember people at the party were like, you know what? Let's shut down the phones and let's actually talk to each other because this fight's a snoozer. You know, we're all waiting for the co-main and the main event. But yeah, you know, Strickland, you know, it's funny because he kind of has that little shoulder roll like Mayweather. He's very defensive minded. He has a shoulder, he has a knee going up every time, but he's an active fighter. So I don't think it's his fault. He was trying to come in and trade a little bit, use his jab. You know, he's aggressive, but I don't know what the
Yeah, I think Gilbert was talking about his defense and the way Sean Strickland obviously uses defense to match up against Paulo Costa, and Costa was a good Costa was just a little bit too timid in my opinion. I remember I was watching that fight and I'm like, what is going on with him? So Gilbert, are you good? Well, while Gilbert figures it out, yeah, no, I thought Sean Strickland, he got him a couple of times, but it was more of a defensive fight, and you could hear Cormier talk about it, and he's like, what? Because in the first round, Costa actually was moving around well and everything, but Cormier said at one point he's going to get tired, especially if Strickland starts cutting him off. In the second round, that's what you saw. You saw Strickland starting to cut off Costa and not letting him get all over the octagon the way he was in the first round. So kudos to Sean Strickland for being able to do that. But for this judge to come out of nowhere, and see, that's the crazy part. In the NFL, you get fined for talking about officials that way. So for him to talk about an official like that. That was, I mean, you're getting the president saying that. You've never heard Roger Goodell come out and be like, hey, the referees that were in that Green Bay Packers, I know they were backup referees, but against the Packers and the Seahawks a couple of years ago, you guys are a couple of jackasses for calling that a touchdown when it was clearly an interception. But Gilbert, I was just talking about the way, obviously, Strickland cut the octagon in half in the second round. In the first round, Costa was moving all over the place, and Cormier said it. He's going to get gassed at one point, and that's when Strickland needs to start cutting off the octagon and kind of pick him apart. And I feel like that's what Sean kind of did with Paulo.
Yeah, and to go off of that, like Paulo Costa has had some weird performances. Like, yeah, he's exciting at times, but like he's had a good amount of snoozers. You know, he's had a good amount of losses in his career. They didn't take enough chances there. So, you know, I don't blame Strickland for, you know, his, you know, defensive tactic, but he was like I mentioned before, at the Wi-Fi, or maybe didn't catch it. Wi-Fi went to crap for me, but it's a different story for another day. And, you know, he was throwing punches, jabs, and he was trying to do some counter game with the defensive tactics. So I don't think it's on Strickland. Paulo is just kind of a weird cat. You don't know what we're going to get for him, Fernando.
You know, and you know what Paulo said? He said after the fight, I will bring back the old Paulo to take the heads off to finish the fight. I have the power, so I need to deliver that, and I will do that. I won't give a F points or conserving energy or F anything about that. I will come to take heads off.
No, you should have brought him on Saturday, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of like, you could have done something there, but that official, Gilbert, is just that was crazy to see that.
I was surprised. We turned it off into the main event, and when I saw the scorecards when I got home, I was like, what? Like, he didn't win this unanimous? That was strange.
Yeah. Gilbert, real quick, should combat sports fans be a little bit nervous because we all know that that 303 is coming up. It is the return of the notorious Conor McGregor. Today there was supposed to be a press conference, or Monday, June 3rd, for whenever you guys are listening. June 3rd, there was supposed to be a press conference in Dublin. Conor McGregor tweeted out the event was postponed, and Conor said, in consultation with the UFC, today's press conference was canceled due to this series of obstacles outside of our control. I apologize to my Irish fans and fans around the world for the inconvenience and appreciate all your passion and support. I cannot wait to put on the greatest all-time show in the octagon. Gilbert, should fight fans be nervous that this is just the first step and what potentially could be a canceled fight between, or not canceled, but maybe they bring somebody else for Michael Chandler to fight, or what? Because we saw the videos 2 weeks ago. Conor was partying it up and he was drinking and everything. Is he taking the Ryan Garcia approach, or what do you make of this?
Well, I guess the big question is, like, was this like a PR excuse? Like, hey, it wasn't, you know, us. It was out of our control. It was a facility. It was a city, whatever. Like, you could definitely go to that and just be like, hey, we tried our best. So, but everybody's thinking in the back of their mind, well, Conor McGregor, you know, he's probably not in shape. Maybe he's hungover. He couldn't wake up and go in time. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, Fernando, you know, because you are going somewhere you're not used to. Remember when Dana White was asked about a fight a card potentially occurring in Hawaii? He's like, no way. We don't have they don't have the facility for it. They can't do it. They can't host a mega bout. Maybe something happened with the facility or whatever arena or whatever they want to use in Dublin, in Ireland. That maybe they don't have the same kind of, you know, things that they have here in Las Vegas. You know, I'm not trying to, you know, downplay Ireland. I want to go one day, but maybe it could be something like that. Simple as things like, hey, because, you know, when Conor McGregor had his Dublin presser with Jose Aldo, that was the rise of Conor. It was a massive crowd. Now people know who the hell he is. He's a superstar, and these are rare for Dublin. So for him to do that and make an appearance, I bet they're expecting like thousands of fans, and maybe the people were like, in the venue was like, you know what, we can't accommodate all these people, man. Like, let's try something else, and that's what happened.
Well, and that's very disappointing because now everybody has to be thinking like, oh, hey, is Conor not coming back? And especially because they sold that out in what, 5 minutes, the fight, when they bought the tickets and everything. So
I think the statement helped though, Fernando. Like, it wasn't like a training thing, supposedly.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens real quick before we move on to boxing. Dustin Poirier was asked after the fight, who does he think is going to win that one, Conor McGregor or or Michael Chandler, and this is what he had to say.
If Connor comes back anywhere similar to what he was before the injury, I'm talking timing wise, his rhythm, I think he knocks Chandler out. Obviously, I fought them both. I fought Connor 3 times. The way Chandler covers distance with big movements against a sniper like Connor, you're going to run into something big, and you can't take those shots. Chandler's had a long career. He's been hurt a lot. I'm not saying he's chinny, but I'm saying you can't cover distance with a sniper like Connor.
So he said knockout.
That's a good opinion and analysis from a guy who's been in the octagon with both.
Yeah, no, that'll be definitely interesting. Gilbert, all right, let's move on to boxing, and then obviously coming up soon will be Dan and Dago. Gilbert, obviously there's been a lot made of the last few years of Deontay Wilder, and is it time for him to hang it up? And this weekend he fought against Zhilei Zhang. Am I saying that right?
Sounds right. You got it.
Okay, cool. And he was KO'd in the 5th round by him. Gilbert, obviously, he showed his power at times, but it just felt like he starts doing some wacky stuff, and it kind of just all goes away at one point, and that's kind of what happened, I thought, on Saturday afternoon. It was obviously Saturday night, well into the morning in Riyadh. But just, Gilbert, what is your analysis? What do you think happened in this fight, and what did you see?
I think it's time for Deontay Wilder to retire, hang it up, and that's not a knock on him. It's just he never developed more to his skill set. Like he's a bombs away fighter who has poor footwork, poor defense, and we saw the way he got caught. He went again with the right hand, super wide, and it was a quick counter, those small short right hand that got him stunned. And then when the opponent went over to see him, he just caught him again with another right hand, and he fell. And that to me tells me that when he was younger, he was able to withstand some of these power shots because he was athletic, he was younger, maybe in top shape. Now when you're getting older and you have nothing else to offer besides these wild haymakers, you're gonna get caught. He got caught, with Tyson Fury. He had a terrible performance against Joseph Parker. He got caught right now with Zhang here. So it was a good knockout, but it was one thing that could have been avoided. And he didn't even unleash a full power right hand. It was a straight right, a little quick counter, and it dropped him. So that to me tells me, Wilder, it's time to move on. Live off what you did with the great trilogy with Tyson Fury. All respect to him, because at the time Fury was the best of the best, and you went to fight the guy 3 times. It was a draw. Maybe you should have won the first one when he dropped Tyson Fury. He rose like the Undertaker for a draw. That was unfortunate for Wilder, but he was going to lose that fight, probably if he never got the knockdown. So he's not a fighter who should go to the scorecards. There's nothing pretty about it besides the knockouts. It's ugly. It's sluggish for Deontay Wilder, and now at his age, and his opponent, Zhang, like he was actually, I looked up his age. He's like 41. So that tells you that, for him, it wasn't an age because he has more to offer. Maybe he's not as powerful as Wilder, who's, probably 38. I forget his age, because he has something else to do. Like when you're a one-trick pony and you're getting older, it's going to catch up to you. And what else? Like, what, Fernando, going back to the Poirier thing, I loved his response, Dustin Poirier, when they asked him, hey, you're going to retire? He's like, obviously I want to get my belt, but if I'm not winning these fights, what am I doing? I'm fighting just to fight. Like, that's not fair to my family. So, Wilder has been a champion. What else do you want to do, man? So, it's easy for me to say that, but when you're the person, you're the one making decisions for your life, obviously it's a different story, but we've seen the performances and it's not looking pretty for Wilder.
Are you disappointed you never got Joshua versus Wilder?
Yes, I remember. I think I was in the back end of my Vegas days, and that was a big fight. And I remember I wrote a story when the Westgate Superbook, revealed their odds for, like, it was a fight that was brewing. Like, here's the odds for potential Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder fight, and people read the story because they're interested about the fight odds for this mega bout that should be occurring. It never did. Supposedly Joshua was kind of being too hard in the negotiations. And credit to Wilder, he did the whole switcheroo, and went to Tyson Fury, and that was a great trilogy. We all remember unboxing trilogy. So we never got, the whole Joshua fight. Hey, but people went their different ways. Joshua got Andy Ruiz, and Wilder got Tyson Fury, and we remember them for that.
Did you the Bivol fight? I mean, 6th
As
round
expected,
KO.
knockout. I want to see Arthur Beterbiev and Bibbo. Shout out to Moy 42 from Montreal.
December 21st.
Yeah, hopefully they make it. That's a crappy part about the fight game. People get hurt, and Bibbo looks in shape. That might be a good thing for him to be in shape and in a rhythm when Beterbiev is trying to recover from an injury and also try to get his win back from a long layout. So maybe that could be a benefit because I think maybe Beterbiev is maybe a little bit right now, maybe a little bit of a favorite, but it's an even fight.
Real quick, before we move on to Oscar de la Hoya, what do you think about this potential Joshua fight? They're saying it's going to be Joshua versus Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
For an all British heavyweight fight on September 21st at Wembley. What do you think?
It's a good fight. It's funny because I guess Joshua is now at the point where he's the older guy. It happens to everybody. Like when Canelo had to fight Munguia and everybody had the whole storyline. That's actually a good comparison. Like, I'm not saying Joshua's Canelo level, but he's been a champion. He knocked out Ngannou when Tyson Fury couldn't, and that kind of gave him some more steam there. Joshua's, you never know what kind of performance you're going to get from the guy, but he's still a good test. And the boy, he is coming up fast in the heavyweight ranking. So I want to see what he does. Maybe it's too soon, maybe it's not, but that's the intrigue right there, right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Gilbert, real quick, obviously moving on to our next topic, staying with boxing.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw what Oscar de la Hoya tweeted
I didn't,
out.
but you mentioned on the rundown. I got excited. Eddie Hearn.
5-0. He's laughing at Eddie Hearn because it was Top Rank versus who?
Oh, it was Matchroom versus Queensberry.
Yeah. There you go.
Promoters.
Yeah. Both UK promoters. So obviously, Oscar de la Hoya poking some fun at Eddie Hearn, and then he turned around and Oscar de la Hoya turned around and then said, how about let's do Golden Boy versus Top Rank in Vegas? And then he tweeted at Bob Arum and he said, let's talk. So Gilbert, does that interest you?
Yes, for sure. I want to see more of this. And obviously that card in Saudi Arabia was supposed to be Bivol versus Beterbiev, but he got saved because the undercard was stacked with the 5 versus 5. And I was trying to, I haven't fully caught up on all the fights, but I was trying to see what people were thinking on social media or reading stories, and everybody liked the fights. They were entertaining. Yeah, there weren't a lot of big names on it. But this rivalry for promoters, and the promoters are trying to act like they're coaches when they're not even coaches. It was whatever. But it added to more intrigue, and it was pretty good series. To get swept like that or get skunked, like that's a terrible thing. But I like the idea. So shout out to Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren to put themselves out there, right? Like you have a lot of pride as promoters. You don't want to get embarrassed like Eddie Hearn did, but Eddie Hearn is actually a really a funny guy like that, where like he doesn't shy away from people making fun of him. He talks trash to the fighter. So if it happened to somebody, it's okay to happen to Eddie Hearn because he's okay to take it. Some people will probably be devastated. But I know I'm kind of rambling here. But to go to Top Rank and Golden Boy, when I saw it on the rundown, Fernando, I was like, okay, let me have some potential fights here. And let me know if you like the card here. It was a little difficult at first to get 5 really good. Like I want star power. So 5 stars for Golden Boy. But I found them, and Top Rank, doesn't have like a Ryan Garcia or a Canelo, but they have a lot of really good fighters. So there's plenty of options for Top Rank. So let me give you the main event right here: Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez at junior welterweight. That's already an amazing main event.
Yeah,
I must add. And then if Beterbiev gets past Bivol, my co-main event will be Beterbiev versus my tocayo Gilberto Ramirez, light heavyweight battle, co-main event. I would love that. And then maybe this could be the co-main, but you let me know. Vasily Lomachenko versus William Cepeda, lightweight fight. Lomachenko will probably run around circles with Cepeda, but Cepeda comes to fight. He's a brawler, and it will be an entertaining fight. And then to my 4th fight, I'm gonna butcher his last name, but Janibek Alekhanul. I can't do it. Well, Janibek he's a not an undisputed unified middleweight champion, not a big name, but he's a good fighter, and he's a middleweight champion, like I mentioned. Jaime Munguia went up from middleweight to super middleweight, so maybe like a catch weight there. But Janibek and Munguia will be a pretty good brawl. And then I found Virgil Ortiz, Golden Boy prospect, so that's 5. And I couldn't find maybe like a fighter on his level, contender level from Top Rank, because they don't have too many junior middleweights. But Xander Saez from Puerto Rico is their next best prospect. You want to find out you have a star in Xander, put him up there against Virgil. So those are my 5 fights there. And, I guess I think I will favor Garcia over Teofimo. Vitor were against my Tocayo, unfortunately. Lomachenko versus Cepeda, that's 2-1 top rank. I might go with Janabek over Munguia. That's already 3-1 top rank. And Virgil Ortiz over Xander, that's 3-2 for top rank.
Oof. Wow.
But hey, I do like the system, by the way, Frank. Did you hear the scoring system? If you get a knockout, you get 2 points. So there could be different kind of ways to win.
That would be interesting. I'm all for it. I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun. So there you go. Moy is saying Peter V. There you go. So that's his guy. Moy, don't go anywhere because pretty soon, give me 3 quick minutes, and then we'll go over with Dan and Diego. But Gilbert, Golden Boy needs to hire you. That'd be a really good card.
So good idea from Oscar. I like it. Hopefully,
I definitely would like that. Gilbert, let's move real quick to WWE. So is WWE versus AEW a possibility? So the AEW champion right now is Swerve Strickland, and he's the AEW world champion, and he came out and he was on the Bootleg Kev podcast, and he says if there's a chance it could ever happen, now is more than likely than it's ever been before. That would be huge. That'd be a huge, obviously, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, PLE, whatever. It'd be humongous, but there's a lot of obstacles, Gilbert, because there'd be probably about 10 to 12 good matches. There's a lot of really good possibilities. The only problem is who's going to go over. That's going to be the issue between Triple H and Nick Khan and Tony Khan. Who are the wrestlers that are going to go over? How do you tell these stories? Who's going to be the main writer? So there's a lot. And then how are they going to split everything? Because if we're going to be honest, it should be about 70-30, if we're being honest. Being honest.
All right.
And my main event, everybody's probably thinking I'm going to say the Tribal Chief versus MJF. It is not actually. My main event would be Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Jon Moxley in a Shield triple threat match in the main event.
So 2 from WWE, 1 from AEW.
AEW. I would love to see that. I think that would
not
be
MJF versus Roman Reigns.
I really want to, but everybody still is hoping for a Jon Moxley, a triple threat match between the Shield members, which I would definitely watch. But Roman,
you gotta have Cody Rhodes against MJF or something.
That's who I would have Cody Rhodes against. They are. He's been Cody's been his mentor. MJF loves him, so that would definitely be a match. There's other matches that I would definitely make. I would definitely have to bring Cena in there for something. Cena would have to have a match. I definitely would love to see that.
Edge,
but man.
Well, we've seen it too many times, man.
Yeah, Edge is all messed up right now with his leg, but no, there's a lot of really good matches, and I don't want to go through it right now just because of that. But I just think that there's a lot of really good female matches that they could do. A lot of really you would get, and to put more people on there, you would get an AEW versus WWE 5-man tag team match, and then a 5-women tag team match, so you can display more of your talent. But obviously I think that would be humongous. I don't know how they would do it, but Swerve Strickland has kind of got the ball rolling now, and now people are really going to start talking about it because again, there is a lot of talent at AEW. Obviously we all know there's a lot of talent in WWE, but the thing is, how are you going to put them all together and how are they going to mesh? And that's why I said the main event should be those 3, because those 3 would put on a show that would light it up.
Can offer some kind of solution for who will win. Well, one, I don't think WWE will ever do it because that 70-30 split, AEW should take it in a heartbeat because you get the promotion, you get advertisement, you get to be on the biggest stage to promote your superstars and say, you know what, we hang with these guys. You're giving them every opportunity to build names and take away eyeballs from your company. So I don't think WWE would do that. But if they do decide to do that, which we all want to see that, right? There was like WCW, WDF back in the day, right? And we kind of got that during the invasion. Same thing with ECW. But just agree for the entertainment factor. Take that 5 versus 5 format from boxing, have the kind of the same scoring format, and have it 2-2 until the 5th main event match, Moxley against the Shield, or against Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. and have some kind of competition between Triple H and I don't know, Tony Khan. When I say competition, Triple H will win any type of competition. Maybe it's about brains, but he's a smart dude as well. Have some kind of rock, paper, scissors, whatever. And the winner of that gets to have their promotional company be on top for this 5 versus 5 AEW WWE.
Something's got to give. Here's some matches I kind of jotted down. The Usos versus the Young Bucks. I would really like that match. Yeah. Drew McIntyre versus Kazuchika Okada. He's a Japanese superstar that's really good. The guy's up and coming. He was actually talking to WWE about coming with them, but he asked for too much money, allegedly, and WWE said no. So Gunther, the Ring General versus Swerve Strickland. Swerve, you wanted it, you got it. You got Gunther.
That's a good one.
Rhea Ripley versus Rio. I think that would that'd be a really good match. Dan's gonna love this one. How about CM Punk versus Jack Perry? That's the beef that it all got started with, the choking out and all that stuff. So why not CM Punk versus Jack Perry, and let's see it all unfold there. I got Kevin Owens versus Orange Cassidy. I think that'd be a really good match. Sami Zayn versus Eddie Kingston. Again, explosiveness. There'd be a really good one. And then, like I said, damn, I would love Cena versus Kenny Omega. Cena, I feel like it still has a little bit left in the tank, but I would love to see Cena against Kenny Omega. I think that'd be a really good one. And then Cody Rhodes against MJF. And like I said, that main event that I have, I think those would be some.
No friend of the show, no Darby Allin.
Well, he'd be in that tag team match.
Oh, he's part of that.
You know what? Okay. Yeah, because Darby Allin's in it. It'd have to be a no holds barred tag team match. So I would definitely want that. But
thank you, Jorge. I look like a hostage, but I appreciate that.
Jorge, are you ready, Jorge? Are you ready? Because it is time for the main event of the evening.
Good timing, Jorge. Damn.
Jorge really knew what time it was, and with that, it is time for
I only have one thing to say as I'm getting shout out to Jorge with those dance senses on. Let me reveal where I am. Let me scoot over a little bit. Coming to you live from Moe's. I have one thing to tell you, Gilberto. We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Paris down to Turkey, we've won the lot.
Yes, your fight song? Shouldn't it be in Spanish?
No. It's a different. That's a different song. Dan. Dan, you saw this clip, and you told me I need it on there, and I told you, all right, I'll put it on there. So, Dan,
I love just sitting there and listening to each guy kind of orchestrate the cadences and the difference between them. Justin's like brilliant.
I know what I want to ask. Could you imagine working with this guy every day?
Yeah, how?
He's had 3 different systems
Yeah.
over the last 3. This is his 3rd system in 3 years.
I know. It's unbelievable.
And he just has not flinched. It's not, Greg, give me that again.
Not at all. Dude, I'm telling you.
It's unreal.
Yeah, he's got that thing inside of him that's telling whoever, like, I got this down cold, if you haven't noticed.
No.
Yeah, high praise.
You know what's the funniest part? I'm not one of those guys. Actually, no, scratch that. I am one of those guys. I've been saying that since the boy got drafted, and no one has wanted to acknowledge that fact. But I'll get into that when we get into some of the other quarterback stuff. But what can I tell you, Gilberto? He's a son of Odin. You know, in that scene where you ever watch Ted 2?
Yes.
You remember the scene where they sneak into Tom Brady's bedroom and they're trying to yeah. That's the son of Odin now. You open up them covers, he's good to go. He's golden boy, dude. He's ready to go. That dude is the young goat. I cannot wait to see what he's gonna do. But yeah, what more can I tell you, dude? Oh yeah, here he is. Here he is. If I couldn't love him anymore, country music concert, it's the absolute best, dude. Zach Bryan. Then you see this is what I love. He's hanging out with his linemen, his 2
Hey,
tackles.
Cameron Dicker too, and the kicker.
Okay, that's great. We can move on. Thank you. Get to the line.
He makes field goals. What are you talking
I
about?
know. I'm just kidding.
Damn,
I'm
Puka
just
Nakua was
kidding.
also there, and some
I
other
don't even know
random.
who that
Wait, that's
is.
Puka
No one
Nakua?
cares.
Yeah,
No
Puka
one
Nakua
cares.
is there too.
No one cares.
They got people from the Rams and from the
And
Chargers.
the Chargers. Yeah.
But
Is
this
Cooper Kupp
but
with
this
the
is
beard then?
I don't know. I don't know.
think that's him.
This is what I'm talking about. This is beautiful to me because this is how you build team camaraderie, which I
Yeah.
think was missing on the team between quarterback and lineman for about 20 years. I won't say who, but we'll move on.
Hey, I'll say this, Dan, for Herbert to be on stage and get some spotlight, like he must have been having a good time. He hates
Hey,
cameras.
he must have been smashing those Modelo's or whatever, Bush Lights, whatever is they got
It's almost
out
time for
there.
the season, Dan. No smashing.
No,
nothing up.
no alcohol. Right now, he's like Khabib in Islam. Prayer and training. That's the only thing he's doing right now. Prayer and training. No, none of that. None of that.
Gilbert, I want to give you your time. Thier wants you to
Yeah.
explain yourself.
All right,
Go
Thier.
ahead.
This is 2 weeks ago, Thier, but I get it. You're late and you're mad about my opinion about the Chargers. And, I'll say this, and you're not going to like me, like kind of doing a little bit of backtracking, but Fernando has a point. They had winnable games against the Cardinals and, even the Saints there. So maybe they get 9 wins, whatever. That's still not enough to make the playoffs. I'll give you that at the air. But it's just, to me, it feels like a 2-year project. And that's not a slight at Jim Harbaugh. It's a lot to kind of deal with. Justin Herbert is amazing. You heard what Greg Roman said there. So, to go from 5-12 to into the playoffs, it happens a lot in the NFL. I get that, but you're asking a lot from Harbaugh. And you know what? I went off of Fernando's 2-game win factor for Harbaugh. So from 7-10 to 9-8. Yeah. Okay. Fine. But is it enough to make the playoffs? I don't know. Again, the rushing attack, I'm worried about it. The interior of the offensive line, I'm worried about it. Hey, they might have some studs in Joe Alt. He was a beast when I saw him right there in person and then on stage. We'll talk about that in a bit there. And then Fernando, this doesn't get talked about enough. The defense is a lot of problems right now. Interior defensive line, can you stop the run? Can you figure out the linebacker spot? Does Perriman have enough? Does Colson pick it up? And then does Derwin James have enough help there? You got pass rushers. When you got pass rushers and you got tackles, you're always going to have a chance with the son of Odin, right, Dan? But to me, there's just too many uphill battles to be an instant playoff team. I could be wrong, but I'll say this, Thier and Chargers fans, it's a 2-year project. And I could put anything right now if you want me to do it. I won't. But Chargers make the playoffs for sure, and within 2 years, either this year or next year. But I'm being more confident for next year.
No, and real quick, going off of that, I definitely that's what I've been reiterating. That the secondary is a little bit nervous. It makes you a little bit nervous looking at the secondary. Huh?
No, I was laughing at Jorge's comment.
There's a little bit of hesitancy with the secondary. Then you kind of look at some of the other, like linebacker, like Gilbert said, Dale Henley is going to be interesting to watch. Junior Colson is going to be, but you're counting on a second and a first year linebackers, and then
Daily guy who might not fit the scheme. I'm not too sure, but that matters too.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then the defensive line, there's still question marks about that offensive line. I mean, I know that Morgan Fox and some of these other guys have done well in the past, but it's just it's just interesting to see. Jorge said if the Chargers win more than 7 games, you have to eat an avocado pie.
No. You know what? I'll take it further, and I will accept your bet, Jorge, if they make the playoffs. How about that?
Ooh.
So real quick, are you done for an hour or no?
Well, I was just gonna say a little bit more. But
go for it.
I understand where Gilbert's coming from. I mean, we've seen it in the past. The only thing that has me changing kind of my mind from what I've seen in the past is the fact that obviously this head coach is different, this coaching staff is different. But the thing is, what Gilbert's saying is that and what I've been saying as well is that it's gonna take a while because he has a lot of stuff he needs to fix. When you have bad habits, and this franchise has very bad habits, you kind of got to spank the shit out of the kid to get him to. Well, no. You got.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. You gotta change their ways slowly but surely. It's not gonna one spank. There you go. One spank isn't gonna make them think, oh, I need to change what I've been doing. No, slowly but surely, you got to implement it. You got to do everything you got to do. now their strength and conditioning. Gilbert was even surprised. He's like, how many strength and conditioning people do they have? Now they're like, we all saw the grades last year. The Chargers had terrible grades when it came to facilities, food, all that stuff. The Chargers are now changing all that. Now they're moving in their new facility. I think Wolfgang Puck is supposedly catering for the players and the team, or one of his restaurants or something. So you got, so that slowly but surely you got to make all the bad changes that this franchise has done in the past. In the past, yes, they've been cheap. Yes, they've made some questionable decisions. Yes, they have given money to players that you're like, okay, why? Like, why are you giving that guy money? Why are you paying him? So now you're changing everything with Jim Harbaugh, and now it's and now it's going to take some time for him to do. But you guys got to remember, this team is still it's a work in progress, and it's going to be a work in progress. I think that Gilbert's skepticism is 100%. What do I want to say? Like, it
warranted. There's no doubt the skepticism is warranted.
Yeah. So I definitely
hey, but to go off of what you said about the coaches that I saw there, in person. I was there in person to kind of see what's going on there.
Chargers didn't know that Gilbert was still alive. They all thought that he had moved.
Hey, by the way, I did speak to a couple of coaches, and some players saw me, so they still remember me. It's been a couple of years. That was cool. Perriman even say, hey, like, kind of gave me a point, like he remembers me, or he just being nice, like pointing at everybody. But that was cool. And like you mentioned, no music there. But to see just the way Jim Harbaugh is so active and everything, like the new kickoff rule they were practicing, he was like watching, what are you doing, Ficken? What's going on here? He wants to be involved in everything. We saw these strange kind of things, not strange, but things that we're not used to seeing, these kind of drills, and maybe we could elaborate a little later. But, the way he was working with the wide receivers, working with the quarterback, going on defense. And then when it came to the sleds with the weights, I wanted to record it because it was so cool. Jim Harbaugh wrapped around a sled around his waist with, I want to say 245s, maybe 3 on it.
345.
And 345s going behind, running backwards with his players. So the enthusiasm unknown to mankind, there you go, was definitely on point.
Yeah,
that's my thing. That's my thing, dude. Just trying to get in here real quick. My ceiling is 14-3. My what do you call it? The basement or the bottom is 10-7. And the reason why I say this is because you notice all the dysfunction from the past few years coming out finally. I mean, Chase Daniel coming out of the woodworks all of a sudden trying to just talk trash, get some clicks and everything. I get it. But like, my thing is this, I'm a student of history, and the thing they used to say about Napoleon Bonaparte is that he counted for 10,000 men on the battlefield. So it didn't matter how much, levels wise and everything else, numbers wise between him and his opponents. His soldiers were not, conscripted. They weren't slaves or any of that stuff. They all believed. They believed that the emperor was going to lead them through it.
Yeah, then they died from the blizzard in Russia, but whatever.
Take it easy, guy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
I watched the movie.
He watched the Apple TV.
I was about to say, like, yeah, of course he ends up, different.
But you believe when you win a couple championships, right?
He was still one of the great. We're still talking about him today. That's how important the guy was. He was revolutionary. But I'm not going to get into the whole poli-sci and all that stuff. It's just an example, now that he threw off my train of thought, of what's happening now with the Chargers, right? You go from, if we're to believe the reports, a lot of questions on defense, a lot of bickering between coaches getting sold out and shipped off and fired and other things like that. If we're to believe that, now you bring in a type of Napoleon and Jim Harbaugh, who the guys believe in him no matter, without a doubt. You know what I mean? Because that's the type of aura and presence he has. From the videos I've seen of his dad telling the Cassius Clay story, I feel the aura. I'm like, shit, I wish I was in that room. I can only imagine now with Jim Harbaugh in the room and everything else. He's got those guys believing, yeah, it's not the same old Chargers, because now we're going to do a lot more, where they're going to be a lot different. And, belief is the number one thing. They have to believe they can beat the Chiefs and make a playoff run. So that's why I think, the type of nonsense he's going to have, the type of clear plan he's going to have, the type of, coaches he surrounded himself with, because everybody forgets too, he brought in Navarro Bowman, which you try and talk back to Navarro Bowman or talk trash, I'm sure he's going to roll the highlight tape and say, hey, I played in the league when there were men in this league. Like, this was a lot different of a game back then. Same with Nick Hardwick. Now he's got Nick Hardwick in there, and I think that just adds so much because they're going to see these guys as, oh, shit, I grew up watching this guy. I grew up watching that guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a different aura. They're gonna really, I guess, have that infectious, what's it called? Enthusiasm unbeknownst to mankind. And I think they're really going to ooze that. And that's personally what I'm thinking on, besides that, and a schedule that's not that difficult. Like, I know you're a big Cardinals guy all of a sudden now. You just jump from the teams who have red and they're going to make the NFC Championship and everything else. I get it. I'm not a huge believer in the
let me do that. Let me do that.
Call Kyler Murray.
Finish.
No. Okay, my bad.
So that's all I'm saying. My bad. Long story short, that's what I'm getting to. They have an easier schedule. I think they're going to go back to doing what God intended when it comes to playing football. Run the football, punish your opponent, and play defense. So, because again, actually, no, it's more for later. Never mind. But that's all I'm saying. Because remember too, a lot of these morons want to talk about Justin Herbert not being clutch. He was clutching games, but the defense couldn't stop him on the way back, and they left too much time on the clock. That also is a component that goes into the game. So again, you ask me who I would build a franchise around. 100% Justin freaking Herbert. Give me the son of Odin, the god of lightning. Goes to country concerts with his linemen. What more do you want? If he was ripping a few beers, I'd be better, but it is what it is. I can't have it all. But
Hey, you know what your quarterback drinking, man.
Dan, just go to training camp with a megaphone and a whistle and coach the players until someone stops you. I don't think anyone would notice. If anything, Harbaugh would love it.
Could you imagine? I would have a damn enthusiasm. You know what's funny? And that's the other thing, right?
Let the people's champ speak. And then Moy agree with you. When is the next Call of Duty dropping? Arizona will be good.
My boy knows. My boy knows.
It is kind of an early
He's
game.
Done.
I don't know. Maybe
he's
I drop
done
in
November. The fact that they have to put film hours into his contract, that's real. No matter what they try and tell me with media releases and everything else. So I totally believe that.
Some interviews I've noticed. But
the other thing I was gonna say is when you bring a guy like Chris Hardwick back in the building, when you bring alumni back into sorry. Nick Hardwick.
He was a little bokeh out there when I told Fernando.
I know.
But that guy's thirsty for a championship, especially being at the former club he was at. Like, I think that stuff, you hope it's real, because I sort of feel it now coaching at my alma mater, where I'm just, thirsty. I'm like, I feel the extra pressure because I want to do it and bring it home, if that makes sense. So, I'm just super excited to see what's going to happen. I think it's going to be must-see TV no matter whatever anybody says. And, if Justin Herbert's only throwing 25 to 30 times a game because the run game is so effective, I can't wait, dude. I'm all for it. Sign me up.
Can I say a little more positive things, Fernando, or you got something going?
No. You go ahead.
I just want to say that, because I remember saying, Nick Hardwick, and he looks a little bulky. And then I also told you that Jesse Minter looks like CM Punk a bit when we saw him out there on the field. But I'm just very intrigued for not CM Punk, but Jesse Minter's defense. And I was doing a story for SI, like defensive triplets, and is where I ranked their best pass rusher, best inside linebacker, and their best DB. And the Ravens were number one. And obviously that was Mike McDonald's defense, and similar to what Jesse Minter was trying to run. And we looked at the pass rushers for, the Ravens last year. They weren't the best. They got Cowboy Noy, former Charger, and some older guys, and Jadeveon Clowney. But they had a big guy in the middle, in Matabuke. You got Roquan Smith, the linebacker, and you have Kyle Hamilton. So if you look at the Chargers kind of point of view, you got an elite player in Derwin James. You got all the better pass rushers, with the Chargers, you get Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and Thule. And Mike McDonald made it work that way. So if you get one more beast in the middle, maybe somebody pounds out a linebacker, then you're cooking with Jesse Minter's defense. And another point, Fernando, for a while we thought the Chargers were going to be the best rival to the Chiefs. They were doing a lot of back and forth, thrillers and shootouts, and that didn't work against the Chiefs. I'm not saying the Raiders were better, but the Raiders slowed it down. They punched Mahomes in the mouth. Great running game and great pass rusher Max Crosby. So if you're able to do that with Jim Harbaugh, with a better rushing attack, better protection, all the pass rushers in the world, maybe that's a recipe to beat the Chiefs. And when you got Jim Harbaugh, you better be, for sure that you're going to get a physical outfit out there. And when they drafted Joe, that told me everything right there. They're going to be physical and smack you in the mouth.
You're right, though. Like when you talk about that Raider game, what did everyone used to say when you played Brady and Manning? Keep the ball out of their hands, sustain drives, and play defense and get after the quarterback. Just because, you have these swifty casuals coming in and wanting to see the ball in the air and high numbers and everything else, that's not the way to win football games. It just doesn't happen. Because even though you have some high-scoring games in the Super Bowl, it always comes down to who can control the football and who's going to make that final stop. Obviously you have your little tic-tac 12th man and everything else, but that's a story for another time.
Moy, real quick. So we did speak to Bud Dupree, and he said last week that a couple of years ago, this wouldn't have been appealing to him. But now he's gotten to that point in that age and 10 years in the NFL where he's like, you know what, this could be pretty good. And that's the thing that I wrote about last week and what we've been talking about on this pod. The Chargers are not sitting back on their heels again and just doing whatever, like just keeping a fourth guy on there or doing stuff like that. No, they're being proactive, and they're like, you know what, Thule, Joey, Khalil, and Bud Dupree, if an injury happens to one of them, we have somebody else behind them where there won't be a drop-off. And that's the impressive part about Jim Harbaugh, is that he's slowly but surely doing it. Again, last week I said when Tony Jefferson announced that he was coming back into the NFL, I said, look, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers didn't go get him. Why? Because Tony is a guy that he's a sure tackler. He gets after it, and then he's a good blitzing safety as well. I'm sure that's something that they're going to try and add a wrinkle into. And now Tony Jefferson is going to try out with the Chargers next week at their mini camp. Pretty sure it'll be on Tuesday, so that'll be interesting. But
Mimsy, to go off of Fernando's point, I would love to see maybe him get a chance, Jefferson that is, or maybe Justin Simmons, but money might not matter.
Yeah, money might be tough, but
factor,
I think Tony Jefferson would be a good depth piece. He'd be a guy that could, if it's him and Alohi Gilman with Derwin down at linebacker, I think he'd be solid there. He's a guy that really does it all, and he even played well after he came back from his injury. He played well with the Giants 2 years ago. So, and then he rested the body for the last year. So I really think that Tony would be a good addition for the Chargers. And obviously he's a leader as well. He's a guy that I went to high school with, obviously a great guy. But then obviously you talk to Eric Weddle, who was with him in Baltimore. And Eric had nothing but great things to say about Tony. So he's just a guy that's learned from some of the top guys in the NFL. And he's obviously, he would fit right into this locker room because he likes to joke around. He likes to do a lot of different things in the locker room. And like I said, Tony, Jorge, Tony and I went to high school together. I think Tony would be a great addition. That would be another depth piece.
Jesse Minter was his DB coach at the time anyway in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I saw that right.
Yeah,
100%.
So he knows Jesse Minter. He knows what he wants to. Yeah, we had classes together. We had Avid. We had a bunch of different classes together. But yeah, Tony was always laughing and everything. So yeah, he's a good, smart player. He went to Oklahoma. He was a good piece there. I'm surprised he went undrafted, honestly. Like, the fact that he went undrafted was completely a crapshoot. And then obviously he gets that big contract from Arizona. Then he moves on to Baltimore, gets another big contract. So Tony's a really good football player, and I think he'd be a really good piece for this team. We'll see what happens. But Jordan Schultz said that he has a meeting with the Chargers, a tryout with the Chargers coming up pretty soon.
They need help in that secondary, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. But all right, real quick, let us get to Dan's top three. What do you want to go with, Dan? You want to be positive or do you want to be negative first?
No, let's go negative first. We'll end on a high note.
All right. Let's go with Dan's least favorite commentators. Here we go. Top three. Crap.
You went backwards?
Yeah, I think I might have done it backwards. Hold on.
¿Cómo no te voy a querer? ¿Cómo no te voy a querer?
Oh, did I have the same video?
Si fuiste campeón de Europa una y otra vez.
Oh yeah, congrats on another championship, whatever the hell it was.
All right, his least
Here we
favorite
go. Here we
commentator.
go.
Number
Oh,
one,
you guys took time with this.
Tony Romo. Go
Look
ahead,
at that.
Dan.
Look at that alleged drunken bastard right there. Like, I kid you not. Unless Fernando's at the house with me, if Tony Romo's on the call, I always mute it and I'll put on something else. I'll do something else or listen to something else, but I'll watch the game on mute. I can't stand Tony Romo. He's exactly the epitome of everything I can't stand about, today, some of the stuff that, every time he talks, he sounds like a fan. And then some of the things he says are so idiotic. Like I thought Devontae Adams had a good take. I think it was Devontae Adams on another show had a good take about that. And, just a lot of things he says is so stupid. I'm like, I'm just over it. I wish they would get him out of there instead of and put Greg Olson or somebody else. Because I think he's with Jim Nance. Everybody likes Jim Nance. That guy's been around forever. So not a fan of Tony Romo at all. Can't stand him, especially when the Chiefs are on. All right, let's see who number 2 is. I think I know who it is. The other Chiefs fan. There he is. There he is. There he is. The other Chiefs fan. I can't stand Chris Collinsworth. I'm so sick and tired. I can't wait till Matthew Stafford retires because every time he's on Sunday Night Football, I have to hear about how him and Clayton Kershaw or Clayton or whatever his name is. I don't care. I don't watch baseball. How him and Clayton or Clinton or whatever his name is, Kershaw played high school baseball together in Dallas or wherever in Texas. I'm so sick of it. Another Chiefs fan, he gets super excited. And his whole slide in with Mike Tirico is so weird. Like, I'm like, dude, you're sitting on a stool. Like, there's no wheels on that thing. Just relax. Like, you're not that important. You're not that important. Oh,
like
you
Jeff Miller are unstoppable force
when we get after it, dude. You
guys should call games together.
Hey, we should live stream that. That would be hilarious. He would be the play-by-play, and I'd be the color, or whichever one. Just
real quick, somebody give us our guess. What do you think Dan's number 3 least favorite commentator is? Somebody shoot it off real quick. Who do you guys think?
Let's see it. I don't even remember what I put in there, so it'll be a surprise to all of us.
All right.
Let's say Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman.
Oh,
hey,
there he is. Another alleged drunken bastard. I can't, he's another one. On Monday Night Football, half of the time when I get home from practice and I'm watching the second half, I'm almost like falling asleep watching this. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like these guys are getting worse. And it just makes me laugh that they trash McAfee and some of these guys when they call games. But, like, they're entertaining. Oh, my God. That is not a commentator. Next week, we'll have sports media. Yeah, right?
Yeah, why not?
Or no.
All right. We'll let them do sports media.
Yeah,
right,
sports media. But, I mean, the funniest part is the sports media people, it's all through clips I see on social media. I don't watch any of them because they're all garbage. Most of them are all garbage. But anyway, I can't stand Troy Aikman. Get him off the screen. Oh yeah,
honorable mention. Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't stand Dan Fauci.
Legend.
No, hey, allegedly the 80s doing some other stuff.
For that.
But no, I couldn't stand his commentary because it was the most obvious things. Like Rivers or I don't know if he ever got to call any Herbert games, but Rivers would get drilled as he throws a pass, and he says like something like, "Oh, that pass was off, off. That pass was like misthrown or whatever because he was getting drilled." Well, no shit, Dan. I got eyes. I see what's going on. I felt like he would say the most obvious things possible.
He did,
and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like
Gilbert saying that he did a good job in the Bourbon Bowl.
Yeah, sure. Because he was getting fed bourbon at halftime. That's why it kind of picked up a little bit. But yeah, I was not a huge fan of Dan Fauci.
All right, folks. Now Dan and Daigle will do his top 3 commentators in the NFL. Let's see. Throw out some.
You actually like people?
I do. Yeah.
Let's throw out some suggestions and we'll see what
Pat McAfee
if you guys are right.
You're lucky I didn't do soccer. Soccer, there's one that's amazing. I
Number 1.
Not Dan Fouts, exactly. Oh, I like Greg Olson. I've liked him from the beginning. I thought he was great. He really gives a good insight, good analysis, and everything else. Not ass analysis like a lot of his colleagues. I thoroughly enjoy when he calls games, even though sometimes you get the boring ass ones. Oh, I didn't even think about that, Mimsy. That's a good point. McAfee does call games. I should have put my boy on there. I'll put him at the end. Don't worry, I'll talk about him. Frown can just look for a picture.
Honorable mention.
But Greg Olson, I love Greg Olson, even though sometimes he gets stuck with those weak ass NFC West games with Seattle and a small club like the Rams or whoever. Like I don't know.
By the way, Dan is not happy about the Tom Brady and all that stuff. Hi, Dan.
Yeah, he got screwed. Like, he's one of your best guys. You give him a pay cut, and then you give him a smaller role. Like, that to me was messed up. There's plenty of people who get kicked out at CBS. He's at CBS, right? Or where's he at?
No, he's at Fox.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Oh, yeah. Who's on Fox that I can't stand? I'm sure there's someone they could have taken out instead of him. Take out, Tony Romo's ass at CBS. Go to CBS, Tom. We can't stand his ass. Get him out of here.
Number 2.
Oh, wow. I love Kevin Harlan. And I used to love him, especially because he was on what was the old basketball game? It wasn't 2K for now. It was
video games.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
but I used
like
to
NBA
love
2K or something like that.
Yeah. Or I can't remember.
NBA Live.
NBA Live. I love the way he commentates. His voice is amazing. I think he gives a lot of good insight. Oh, that's right. I think he was in Space Jam. Gives good analysis. I love his voice. I think he was the one, if I remember right, when Kobe would shoot a 3, he'd say the bang. I'm pretty sure.
No. The bang
wasn't
was that's the dude from ESPN.
Oh, you're right.
No, he would say Kobe Bryant with an emphatic dunk.
That's what it was. That was the way it was in the game. But like, I love his voice. I think he does a good job. So I appreciate Kevin Harlan and everything he does. Oh, here we go. Who's number 3? Yeah, Ian Eagle. I like Ian Eagle, honestly, was like a caretaker for Dan Fouts when they were out there. He would just kind of carry him through it and be like, hey, Dan, come on, like this, that. I think he also has a good voice and everything else, gives good insight. He doesn't bug me when I'm watching the games. He's not he's not a cheerleader for some of these teams like you saw with Romo and
these are the play-by-play guys. They're not supposed to give you like a lot of opinion or fluff. It's straight to the point. So I think that's what you like.
I like it.
Is this Dan and Dago's list?
Is this Dan? Yeah, that's right. Don't.
No, I'm just saying.
Questions.
I'm giving you some analysis that you like, kind of straight to the point. People.
It doesn't matter. I'm sure I could have found some color guys I like, but whatever. I like Ian Eagle. I like Ian Eagle. Yeah, he's a color guy. I like Ian Eagle. Let's see who's honorable mention. Oh, that's right. I did have him. That's right. That's right. Pat and Michael Cole together is not talked about enough. Like, I would say they're probably better, although it was different.
Don't say Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler.
Are you kidding? Jerry the King Lawler was a weirdo. Oh. Jim Ross carried his ass. Oh, my friend, signe vive moi. Shout out. That's right. I forgot he was on the list. Mark Sanchez is also garbage. He looks really weird when he's up there. He gives me like, allegedly serial killer vibes. I'm gonna say that. That's it. He looks weird when he's up there in the booth. I don't know. Creeps me out a little bit. I do love Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. They are amazing together, especially when you see Pat doing this and then Michael Cole's like laughing and talking about it. Sanchez or Herbert Stan Levitt. Oh, he might. I don't know. I don't listen to it. But the dynamic duo, way better than any other combo. That's big facts, Mimsy. I absolutely love them. Hey, shout out to 3 years of French in high school. Shout out to Madame. But absolute legends, Pat McAfee and I kid you not. I think I told you this in person. Pat McAfee is so good that in the TCU Georgia final when they were getting smoked, Frown and I didn't change the channel. We were literally there to watch Pat and the boys just keep going and talking about the game and everything else. Like that's my problem. And this is like an attention thing. It's a me problem. I can't watch McAfee or the Manning cast because I get too distracted and I miss everything of the game. Because I just want to hear what they're saying and, see what they're doing. But, they do such a good job of keeping everybody engaged and everything else. I forgot we could have put the Manning cast up there actually, but I guess it's a little more
folks
traditional.
My dislike or like?
No, like I like that. I hate Eli. Oh, okay. He's not better than Peyton. He couldn't even strap up. He's not good enough to wash Peyton's jock strap. He's not that good.
Hey, obviously, hey, we're not done with Dan and Dago's list. We have one more quick one, and then we'll call it a day again. We appreciate.
Oh yeah, that's
jumping on with us.
List?
You're gonna hold on. No. So CJ Stroud came out on social media and he said top 5 offenses of last year. Number 1, Pat. 2, Lamar. 3, myself.
I love the confidence.
4, Josh Allen.
And misspelled myself. Pat. I want that to be known.
So That's what he came up with. And I've been noticing
Trash.
on social media, some fans aren't happy with how much CJ Stroud is talking.
Why?
I don't know. Fans are just saying that he's talking way too much, that he's throwing stuff out there, and that it's a little bit too much. But so yeah, so we decided let's do a Dan and Dago. Which one do you want to start off with, AFC or NFC?
Let's do NFC. That one's boring. There's no one
All
really
right.
there. They're all garbage.
So here's Dan and Dago's top quarterbacks of the NFC. Let's start off with number one. Gilbert, who do you think it is?
Number one in the NFC, Matthew Stafford.
Oh, see, yeah. You see how boring this is? Like, there's no one really here. There's no real debate. The NFC, Stafford still throws the ball well when he has time and everything else. Kirk Cousins, come on, my guy. I've seen enough of that guy. I'm done with it. Kirk Cousins ain't on my list.
I guess number after that, though.
Who's number two?
It's not going to be Dak.
No.
It's not going to be Jalen Hurts. Not going to be Jared Goff.
I don't even think Dan knows.
I know.
Not going to be Kyler Murray. I'll tell you that right now.
I'll tell you that. It's not your list. It's my list. He'd be
Baker
number
Mayfield.
one for you. No.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. I give it Brock. I like Brock. I like Brock a little more than Jared. I think he gives you a little bit more, but they're very similar in the sense that they need a run game and defense to be successful. You kind of saw in the Super Bowl some missed throws, bad reads, and other things like that. I still like Brock, especially for the price tag. Shit, I'd take him over a lot of these other fools if I was creating a franchise. But, I still like him. He just needs to continue to mature and kind of improve as a quarterback, and hopefully he won't make those mistakes.
All right, Gilbert, what do you think?
Either Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield. There we go.
You had to have told him.
I just know you. I know you're.
See, I like Jared Goff. Or sorry, let me rephrase. I don't like him, but he does exactly. He does the same thing exactly that you have. What's his name do? Brock Purdy. Good defense, run the football. That's how he's going to be successful off the play action and everything else. You saw that at the peak of the Rams with him in 2018 or whenever it was when they went to the Super Bowl 19. And that's what it takes. But he balled out. I'll give him credit. I think in the NFC Championship or the divisional, I can't remember which, came up short. But to me, to pay him, over $50 million, that's a little bit much of a price tag for me for what you're getting. But I mean, it is what it is.
Baker.
Yeah, I like Baker. But he's another guy kind of coming up. He needs to protect the football better. That's my biggest problem with him. He turns the football over. He threw a pick to lose in oh my God, Jorge. Oh my God. He turned the ball over to end their playoff run and everything else, but he's solid. He's kind of starting to find his groove again, everything else. I don't know how much they paid him. That's the only thing I forgot, but he's solid. Not the hype of a number one overall, but
Jordan Love, number 5.
Get that trash out of here.
Wow.
Get that trash out of here. As long as LaFleur's in Green Bay, I will never rate anything out of there.
You're going to ding Jordan Love for his career until he leaves on LaFleur?
Exactly. LaFleur's going to be out after next year. You watch, we're not going to do diddly squat this year.
Okay.
But Jalen Hurts, he's all right. He's athletic. He can run the football. He gives you a little bit of that two-way go. I still think personally he needs to improve a little bit on the vision and the passing and everything else. But, he's solid. The year they went to the Super Bowl, very solid. But, again, needs a run game, needs a defense, and that's why in the NFC, for me, it was a little bit, there's no real pure passers
besides, I don't have a problem
besides Stafford. Oh, here we go. Here's where he's going to have a heart attack.
Oh, well, Justin Herbert, number 1.
Get out of here, obviously. Just look at him. Just put pause. Look at that man right there. The golden locks, the golden arm. My guy's a dog. No one's better than Justin Herbert. And this is what I always say. I understand, okay? I understand. Everybody calm down. Son of Odin has the 12th man. He already has 5 to 6 rings right now. You put the Son of Odin on some of these teams with the 12th man, he's already, eclipsed Brady. We wouldn't even know who he is at this point. But in all seriousness, this is my thing, why I would always take him over Mahomes. If you put Mahomes' career versus Herbert, just look at where they were drafted. Mahomes was middle of the round, went to an already division-winning Chiefs, playoff, contending Chiefs, compared to Herbert getting drafted at 6 because God bless Miami pissing their pants and getting the wrong one. And he's coming to a losing team. And since from college, right, I think he had 4 different head coaches, 4 coordinators. On top of that, he gets the NFL. He's on his third head coach, 4th defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. And, his career has been a lot harder. He's had to overcome a lot more than what Mahomes has in Kansas City. Now, I'm talking about just pure passing ability and everything else. I'm not talking about accolades because contrary to everybody's belief, this is still a team sport. The quarterback plays a role, but not the biggest role. That's the lineman, but I'm not going to get into it. But I will always take the son of Odin because everything he's had to overcome.
Gilbert, who do you think is number 2?
Damn. Joe Burrow.
Oof.
Even though
Dan's going to kill me.
Oh, you're going to have a 23. Damn. I should have.
Dan's going to kill me for the picture I used.
Oh, your ass. You're a scumbag. Just skip this. Let's keep
Did
going.
you really pick him?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me put my objective hat. Let me put my objective hat a little bit.
Okay.
I think Mahomes is good. I hate the hype. I think he's been carried.
He's what?
I think a lot of things are shielded. And that's the other thing. He's had a Hall of Fame winning head coach, a Hall of Fame bound head coach, great offensive mind of the game. He got to sit a year. I think he only said a year. Yeah, and they were on the up and up since then. Herbert has not had that. He was thrown in the fire. He's had to figure it out. And on his journey to figure it out, he's had coaching changes, change, that change, injuries in and out.
I'll play this clip over and over again.
And it's not, I'm still talking about Herbert. I'm not even talking about this bum.
Oh, I thought you wanted
you're not even listening. You see what I'm saying? He's not even listening.
On.
He's looking at the picture.
That's the problem. Yeah, he's in love. He's like, look at him. Look at my patch. Look at him. Him and what's the other one? What's weirdo with the long hair at ESPN or what is it? The one who was at the parade. What's his name?
Oh, Nick Wright.
Nick Wright. You and Nick Wright together.
I am
Tony Romo and Chris Collinsworth.
All right, Gilbert. What do you think?
Josh Allen.
See, I do like Josh Allen. I think the only problem with him, he turns the ball over, plays hero ball, and I don't know if that's him decision making or lack of coaching on their part, because again, it pisses me off that he should have put the Chiefs away, not being an idiot, taking the first down, kill the clock and everything else. But again, I don't know if that's coaching or if that's this fool being a dumbass trying to be a hero. And that's the problem. It's like you have to play within the game and understand there's more to the game than when we're going off of last season. Burrow was hurting all of last year. That's why he's not on the list. I agree. I like Burrow, but we're just going off of last year. But, when it comes to him, he has to understand it's not about you. It's not about your stats. It's not about any of that. You got to win the game at the end of the day. And I don't think he's done that enough against the Chiefs. And then they trade with him, and that pisses me off too. So,
Gilbert, what do you think?
I do like Josh Allen.
I think because he had Mahomes number 2, he's going to go Lamar number 4.
You think that guy's on my list?
Okay. Well, he's MVP of the league, but okay.
Who cares? I already told you. CJ Stroud kind of jumped on the scene, did some good things. I like the way, he played in the playoffs, got a playoff win, huge. I hope they can take another step forward. I'm rooting for the Texans. I hope they do well, unless they play the Chargers. Then obviously I hope they just get blown out, but that's the thing. But I think they're on the up and up. I think some of these guys that were drafted last year, I can't remember obviously at the top of my head. He looks like a good pocket passing quarterback, which again, I don't care if people call me an old man and this and that and that. I would still bet or still know pocket passers at the end of the day is what wins you games. You can't have the guy scrambling because either then they're going to sack themselves or they're going to get into more trouble and you can get turnovers and everything else. We each got to understand. We need a most hated. Oh, that would be pretty
okay. Next week, Dan will come out with his list
of overrated quarterbacks.
5 worst of the AFC, 5 worst of the NFC. If you guys are all for it,
let's just do overall.
Yeah,
the NFC has nothing. Half of the NFC list would be on next week for sure too. but yeah, no. CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud looks solid. I hope he continues, so we'll see. He looked pretty good.
The crazy stuff about CJ Stroud is Gilbert Shane Day is now gone from there, and now he's with.
Well, we'll see. He has a little drop off.
Back with the Chargers.
And
Number 5, Gilbert. What do you think?
Oh,
Well, no Lamar. Burrow got hurt.
there might be Lamar. I don't even remember, honestly.
Oh, then Lamar Jackson. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, and you know why we put him in
Alright.
here? Because, like you said, he's MVP, but I'm still not a huge Lamar guy. I think he needs to improve a lot of in the passing game, his vision and everything else, you know. And again, this is what I'm talking about, where he has all the athletic ability and throwing ability you would want. He can chuck the football and everything else. He just needs to, you know, kind of put Peyton Manning's brain or Tom Brady's brain into his, and like that's gonna help him just be better. Like, because sometimes him and some of these other guys, they get antsy in the pocket. They don't want to step up. They just kind of want to tuck and run, and that's when you get into trouble. And especially, it's like Fernando always says, these guys can't be taking abuse, because then they're not going to last the rest of the year. And that's what you saw sometimes with Josh Allen. He'd get hurt because he's over here running and doing everything else. And, you know, running and gunning is a lot different than just you trying to take off and run and be the leading rusher on your team, dude. You can't have it.
Good list,
so
man.
this is the clip that everybody's talking about with CJ Stroud.
Who in the hell is that guy next to him? He's everywhere.
That's the wide receiver, Tank
He
Dell.
was my agent. And I'll tell him
That's not
this to his
Speed?
face. I ain't tripping.
No.
He's tiny, bro.
Oh, my bad.
Hold on, listen.
My boy EJ, Speed. But it's a ton of dudes. It's not just EJ. He was my agent. And I'll tell him this to his face. I ain't even tripping. But like a lot of dudes come to these podcasts, like, oh yeah, I'm coming to hit. I'm gonna hit CJ in his face. I'm gonna get him next year. Why don't you do something? Like where I'm from, we say, why ain't you do something where you was mad at? You was mad right there, man. Do something. You could have made hella plays, bro. You could have made plays, dog. You could have shut me up right there, but you didn't.
Right.
So what make you think you're gonna do it now? And if you do, I'm gonna come back, bro, for real. This ain't for no play, bro. I'm like, come on, man.
Got him in that
So
mode.
Cody put this boy doing all this talking after one season. He already think he arrived. He gonna see. So
No, man. Everybody was bashing the kid after he failed that stupid test, and he wasn't as good as Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson. He's gonna be the worst quarterback. Hey, talk your talk, man. You were talking crap everybody last year, so I like it from CJ. That's that feistiness is what made him a good quarterback. I feel like
That's true, because it's like your favorite head coach from college says, Neon Dion, Coach Prime from Colorado. I got here being me, so why would I listen to you? Yeah, right.
that's spot on, Dion.
Dan, thank you so much for bringing that up. We have
man.
Oh,
some
my
Colorado
sources,
stuff real
my
quick.
sources are telling me real quick.
Listen to what Dion has to say.
My dog. How you doing, man?
My dog.
Like Goldberg?
Yeah, they were teammates.
Oh, in Atlanta?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was college.
Goldberg was my dog. They didn't understand who Goldberg was going to become, but we already knew. He ran from one end of the sideline to the other end and slammed the cat.
And got fined $10,000, which was basically 3 of my checks when he was making that every 15 seconds. But that shows you that it doesn't matter who you are or what you are. It matters what you stand for.
Yes, sir.
He was my brother, and he'll always be my brother, and I'm always there for him.
Yes, sir.
Coach
Prime.
So basically, Dion saying that he kind of told Goldberg, "Hey, maybe you should think about doing WWE
Really?
or going over there." Yeah, he said that. Now their sons are playing together on the same team. I think Goldberg's kid
Colorado.
is at Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he said that was a route, and he kind of thanked him for it. So I'm glad you mentioned him, Dan. That was a good. That was
Great
good.
minds
on
think
you.
alike. Great minds think alike.
Last 2 things, and then we'll get out of here.
40 minutes with Dan and Diego.
Gilbert, did you hear about Darren Waller?
Oh my God.
Terrible. Yeah.
No. What is this? Oh,
Backstab?
I know. Was that
so?
Oh,
He's
thank
saying
God.
that Kelsey
I was
Plum
like-
backstabbed him.
I
in
thought
this
I just
music
witnessed a
video.
crime. I was like, what?
This is video, man.
Like, why? Why?
Gilbert, is this fair or foul?
Is she the female version of OJ?
I want to
He's just
say
out
fair
there?
because Kelsey Plum's been talking a lot too about what's going on, so he wanted to share his side. But for a music video, it's a little excessive, no?
Witnessing a murder? Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, yeah. You could have got on a podcast and kind of air it out a little bit, but not making.
And
a whole
then
video.
Gilbert, you are our resident Spirit Airlines gold card member.
Hey, they're trying to make me sign up for the credit card. I got the mail the other day.
Oh,
It's Deontay Wilder
my
throwing a punch. What is that?
God. Hey, Moi, shout out to you. Shout out. I like that idea.
There you go, Gilbert. You're our gold card member. This is what you could
Speaking of which, you know what was really sad the other day? I was talking to one of my buddies when we were going to Nashville.
They're laughing their asses off while recording this.
Yeah, obviously, because this is the type of stuff you get on Spirit. I wouldn't even go to Vegas on Spirit from San Diego. But
hey, good enough for Rikishi is good enough for me.
And you went across the country. That's the craziest part. Oh, Gilberto would go on a Spirit airline.
I was very
But I was gonna tell you, I had a buddy.
Okay.
I had a buddy tell me that he signed up for the Frontier card, and I was like, "Frontier, dog? Are you serious?" And he starts laughing. He's like, "Well, they told me I got 5 free flights domestic." I'm like, "They could give me 100. I wouldn't Frontier across the country, dude. What are we doing?"
I think Adam Hill has a card for Spirit. So
someone on Twitter said that the Giants haven't played a game yet, but they're already 0-2 with the uniforms and the video of Darren Waller.
Man, what a rough year for Darren.
What a rough
You remember
year for that
back in the day? You remember back in the day when you'd get diss tracks and it was other rappers? Now they're talking about ex-wives on diss track. Like, what are we doing, dude?
Yeah, dissing your ex-wife, man. That's something.
By the way, real quick, Gilbert, have you I'm not gonna talk about all that Caitlin Clark stuff. I just thought that this video was really funny. They're like the Shooter McGavin guy goes, Caitlin Clark whenever she's on a breakaway.
That stuff has been wild. That stuff
Mighty
has been
Ducks.
wild, dude. Like, yeah, that's Mighty Ducks.
Number 2. I thought
That's
that was
hilarious.
I thought that was pretty well. Real quick, and again, I don't want to get completely into it, but I thought so. Angel Reese came out today.
I'm so
real quick.
tired. I'm so tired of
Oh,
this.
no,
Like,
okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say anything.
I saw her quote.
Heels.
I saw her quote. If that's the one you're talking about,
Like she said this real quick.
I've been dealing with this for 2 years now, and understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It all started with the national.
my God, my
I like the
God.
library.
Are
you know,
you
and that's what I
serious?
had said that she should take the heel role when it came to this.
It's not real.
Yeah.
Is that not the same one who cried after I forgot what
Yeah.
because they were coming
Yeah,
after her?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
weak. I'm done with it. You know whose take we should be watching instead of hers. Like, that's ass. I don't even want to hear that. What Matt Barnes said was really good. I don't know if you saw or you have the video.
No, what did he
Matt
say?
Barnes basically says, you know, I think Caitlin Clark's on the Indiana Fever. If my memory serves me right, if not,
Okay,
whatever team she's on, I don't even know. Matt Barnes basically said, "Where the hell are her teammates?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
why are they not? Why are they not checking her? Checking these
She
people or
was
whatever?"
drafted number 1. I'm guessing the
Like-
team sucks, so that's my guess.
Well, it doesn't matter.
They're
It doesn't
gonna be
matter.
back- yeah.
If they're your teammates, right? And Matt Barnes talked about that all the time. He's like, anyone touched Kobe when I was on the Lakers with him, it was instant on site, as the kid said. It's on site. He's like, when he was on the other teams, that's exactly what happened. And you know, the thing that I don't like when it comes to these things, like, you know, you can't be overtly dirty. That's the thing that bothers me. Even though it's kind of soft and everything else, some of the videos I've seen, but you can't be overtly dirty, especially where's the commissioner? I don't know if they fined or done any disciplinary thing.
Oh,
no, I
the-
saw
the-
a fine. $25. I'm sure they wiped their ass with that fine. Dude. Like,
The head coach of Chicago came out and said that she talked to that player that cheap
oh, I'm
shot.
glad. I'm glad.
that
I'm glad they
she was like,
talked to
"That's
her.
not what we do here."
I'm glad they talked to her. That's
Uh,
great.
But Dan,
You know, because mind you, between the whistles, yeah, screen the hell out of her. Screen the dog piss out of her. There you go.
Wow, we're gonna end the show with this. All right.
Historia que tú hiciste. Historia.
I have no idea who the two other guys are, but I know I'm about in the middle.
Porque nadie resiste tus ganas de
I
vencer.
think the guy on the left
Madre,
was until last.
Madrid, a la Madrid, y nada más, a la Madrid. I can't freaking wait, dude. Number 16's coming. It's over.
So, Gilbert,
It's over.
So let me
TikTok.
Sure. This
What a
is
weekend
Vinicius
for you,
Jr.
Fernando, by the way. You got
Oh
a
my
the
God,
championship.
Jorge.
You got the
Oh
good
my
player
God,
here.
Jorge.
This is Vinicius Jr.
TikTok.
On the left. Vinicius
Don't
Jr.
say
is a
who.
Brazilian.
Future Ballon d'Or winner. You
He's
should
a
have came out to the
Brazilian
bar.
player. The kid on the right is Jude Bellingham. He's 20 years old. The one in the middle is Kylian Mbappe, and then the one on the left again, Vinicius Jr. They make up a really young.
So is Mbappe immediately the best player on the team, or
Mbappe is the best player right now in the
No.
world, probably, but Vinicius
No.
Jr. has had the best
Oh, he said
season
no. Okay.
out of
No.
anybody.
Vinny.
Well,
Give
they
me
won
Vinny.
a Champions League title without him, so they're pretty good. I'm assuming.
Exactly. Take it
but-
away
Attitude
from him.
right there. Soccer.
Vinny,
Take it away from
Vinny right now is the biggest. I think Kylian's like the biggest superstar in the world. Yes, but I think Vinny has been the best player this year. The way he's put it in the back of the net, the way he's taking games over, and then you have Jude Bellingham, one of the best young midfielders in the world. Real Madrid have just gotten Mbappe for they've gotten him for nothing.
Free.
And it's a big time signing for Real Madrid. So they just won the Champions League, which is the Super Bowl of European soccer, and they've won 6 out of the last 10. So Real Madrid are on
tired of winning every year.
I never get tired. There's going to be so much winning. I don't get tired of it. Never. Especially after my American football team that that was chosen for me. I need something. This is it, baby.
Your baseball team, the San Diego Padres, also sucks.
Who?
You need it. You need it.
Who? What sport? I've never heard of that sport.
Dan, are you a Padres fan?
No, I'm not a Padres fan. Then now they get in the playoffs, they sneak in and do all this stuff. I'll
Are
admit
you
I'm a
a
bandwagon.
San Diego Clippers fan?
Clippers, get
San
that
Diego?
garbage out of here. I don't even watch basketball
All right.
anymore.
I'm
But
trying
I
to
used
figure out your
to
team
when
too.
it was pure, I was a Laker fan, and I loved watching Kobe. The shoulder shake, the post up, the fadeaway. Oh, I miss Kobe. I miss.
All right,
watching
ready to
Kobe.
go?
Look at this guy. This guy's in a rush.
I am.
Talk about
actually.
soccer the whole time. No, Mbappe. Well, I don't want to say them at homes, but
Just do it.
but he did piss me off. He did piss me off for a little bit.
Yeah, no, Dan was not very happy with him for a while. So, but now he is coming, and it'll be interesting to.
We're gonna try and mob to the final next year, possibly.
Yeah, Gilbert, if you wanna
mob.
go.
Mob the final. What the hell does that mean? Like go watch it
Go
somewhere?
to the final.
Huh?
But don't worry, it's not in Turkey or some whack ass place. Supposedly it's in
Oh,
Berlin.
okay. All right. I was
Yeah,
gonna
no,
say,
no.
where would this be?
It'd be in Berlin. It's a Deutschland.
All right.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens. But again, thank you guys so much for checking out another episode of Compas on the Beat. I think Vic, the producer, should be back next week. Is that true? Oh, Jorge, by the way, how'd you do on finals? Did you pass all your classes? Did you do well? Or did you put it as an excuse? Oh, I listened to too much Compas on the Beat during the.
Hey, we'll sign that note. Don't you worry. We'll take the blame for your
But Vic
professor.
should be back next week, Gilbert.
Yeah, he should be back next week.
Okay, hope he's having fun. I think he was at the College World Series or the
Yeah.
Straight A's.
Hey, shout out,
There
Jorge.
you go.
Shout
Yeah,
out. Shout
awesome.
out. Shout out, Mimsy. Shout out,
Mimsy, we
Mimsy.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. Gracias, Compas, for another great
Mimsy.
episode. You guys make my Mondays great. We appreciate
Shout
it.
out. Shout out.
But yeah, next week, Vic, the producer, will be back. Don't forget to check out everything else on Compas on the Beat Network. Thank you so much for Dan for making up all the time and having a good 30, 40 minutes
Hey,
with Dan.
you brought it today. I'll give you that. Good segments. Shout out to
I
you.
always bring it.
So next week, hey.
Oh, you know
don't
what?
forget-
We didn't even get to talk about UFC 302. I forgot about that. That's
Yeah,
all right.
we already did it for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So next week, guys, don't forget Dan and Dago will do his least 5 or bottom 10 quarterbacks of or 5 or 10. I don't know.
Five. We'll do 5. We'll probably do 5.
We'll do 5.
Overrated.
Okay. 5 of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. It should be interesting. So make sure you guys check it out. But again, thank you guys so much for checking out another episode. Make sure you guys are make sure you guys hit the little notification button so you see when we go on live. Thank you guys so much for joining us again. But for the time being, Gilbert, ¿sabes qué? Vámonos.
Yeah, I gotta go back to moving some stuff, unpacking all that
Have
crap.
fun.
But yeah, thank you.
Hey,
guys.
real quick, I better see some photos of us back there.
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
none of these strangers back there like last time.
There's a lot of space here, so you might see yourself. But
I
wouldn't it
better,
be
I
awkward to
better.
see a picture of you guys the whole time while I'm looking at you.
Why?
And then-
Why? You know what that tells me? Oh, he cares. He actually does like
Oh,
us.
yeah?
Oh, yeah. It's not just,
You guys should, you guys should have seen last week. Gilbert was so excited to see Dan. Dan was excited to see Gilbert. It was definitely a beautiful moment.
It was.
to see, in Costa
You know what,
Rica.
Dan? I'm gonna have the worst picture possible of you right here, so you can see it the whole time we're recording. How about that?
See, Jorge knows you're gonna have a Mahomes shrine. That's what you're gonna do.
Well, that too, and
you and Nick Wright,
Bad Bunny, and
I wonder, are you gonna
The
hug?
Rock.
Are you gonna hug Mahomes and tell him, I don't care how many holding calls they don't call for you against you guys. I love the way you throw the football like Goodell.
Yeah, same thing they say Real Madrid every time in big games.
Whoa.
I'm assuming they win a lot, so it's been some good calls. I'm assuming.
We're
you know.
about to add an extra hour to this program.
Okay, let's go. All right, let's
You're
get
gonna
out of here.
slander my
Let's go.
boys
All right.
like that. That's not gonna happen.
Take us
Ya
away,
nos vamos.
Gilbert.
Ya nos vamos, pues. Vámonos. Get out of here.
Be a